Hello everyone, this is Josh Oakes and I'm excited in this video to outline 7 tips to navigating creative services. Today I have an absolute awesome person here to walk us through 7 tactical tips in creative services. His name is Greg Neal. Greg, welcome to the video.
Thank you so much, Josh. I'm happy to talk to you today.
This is great to have you here, and you're out of New York today, is that correct?
I am.
Great. Hey, walk us through what you do at SuperTech Studios and Radley Studios.
Sure. Well, SuperTech Studios is a creative consulting agency and media agency, and what we do is we work with cable TV networks looking to expand their brand and create new content. And at Radley Studios, which is a different type of creative studio, we create long-form television shows for cable networks as well as branding campaigns for TV networks.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited that you're here. Let's jump right on into it. Can you walk us through the 7 tips to navigating the creative services industry?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I've spent now 20 years in this industry, always on the creative side, and I've learned some things that have come up again and again over the course of my career, both being at a TV network and then also having my own agency as I do now. The first of which is to stand for something. Number 2, be likable. Number 3, to expand your creative partnerships. Number 4, and this is one you've probably heard a lot from a lot of different people, which is network like crazy. The 5th thing we'll talk about is the benefits of listening versus telling. And then the 6th one is a little controversial to some people, but I'm going to tell you some interesting stories why I think it's a good idea to drop bad clients.
Awesome.
And then the last thing we're going to talk about is embracing the world around you and how that can help inspire and grow your creative business.
We love controversy here because I think it leads to tactical tips. So this is great. Walk us through step number 1. What does it mean to stand for something, Greg?
Okay, so creativity is a subjective science. I mean, who's to say green is a good color or a bad color? You know, a lot of times it just depends on someone's personal opinion. And if you're going to be hired for your creative point of view, you need to have some sort of point of view. You need to stand for something. And what is your brand as a creative artist or a creative business? So what I mean by what is your brand, are you someone who has a certain type of personality that can consistently bring that personality to the product? If you look on the right-hand side of the screen, I put a couple of images up there, and you may be wondering why these are there. There's Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, which is a really funny film by the Coen brothers, and then there's Fight Club, which is a movie by David Fincher. And the reason I put film cards there is a lot of people can relate to that because, you know, people watch movies and know movies. And if you're a movie studio and you're hiring David Fincher, the man who directed Fight Club, he brings a very certain point of view. He's done movies like Seven, Fight Club, The Game. He has kind of a dark sensibility. Whereas the Coen brothers, on the other hand, who did Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, they did Raising Arizona, they come with a very quirky point of view, a very surprising point of view. And you know what you get when you hire these people. You need to ask yourself, what are you bringing to the client? What is your personality? What are you going to promise the client? What is your expression? And you also need to decide, do you want to have a strong point of view and you stick to that point of view? Or do you want to be a chameleon? Do you want to just do what the client wants and really just be a service mechanism for them?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
In addition to that, what you would need to ask yourself is, I've worked with a lot of companies that they don't have a point of view. Their point of view is actually the client's point of view. We're just here to execute your vision. And with that comes the question of how do you want to measure your business? Is it important to you to just make money? Is it important to you to work with high-profile clients? Is it important to win awards? Is it important to see your vision on the screen or on a poster or in a photograph? And these are the type of things that I've seen a lot of artists and creative companies, they don't ask themselves those questions. And as a result, they become wayward it becomes a wayward business strategy.
If I could ask you, if you had to pick out of those 3, awards, money, or high profile, which one do you measure success by for your agency?
Well, that's a good question. I think everybody obviously wants to make money. They don't want to do this for free. They want to make money to live on. But I will say that I have turned down many jobs that were more lucrative in order to, and one thing I actually didn't put on there that I probably should have is happiness. You know, for me, it's working with, I would say earlier in my career, it was very important to work with high-profile clients, but often many of them caused a lot of stress in my life, and I realized that's not as important to me. So now it's working with people I think that I share a common vision with. And if you follow the ad agency world, there's actually a lot of businesses out there that focus exclusively on like eco-friendly businesses because that's their passion and that's their niche,
Hmm.
and so they're aligning their personal beliefs with companies that also marry with those same beliefs.
I love it. Well, walk us through step number 2. What does it mean to be likable?
Okay, this actually may seem like a little bit of obvious advice, but it's surprising how few people embrace this idea. One of my former bosses, a man named Charles Seegers, who's now the chief executive officer of Ovation Network, and he also produced the National Treasure series of movies. So he's been around the block a few times. He told me this when I first started working with him. He said, I was frustrated because we did a really creative presentation and another company ended up getting the business and it wasn't as creative really in my opinion. And he said to me, he said, look, people do business with people they like. And that is really, I'm not saying quality isn't important. Of course it is. And, I'm going to get to that in bullet point number 3 when I say the best work doesn't always get the business. But the truth of the matter is when you're creating partnerships with clients, it's much deeper than just the work. They want to work with people that they can enjoy working with, that they trust, that they have a personal relationship with. And so to be likable is extremely, extremely important in business. Now, there are definitely exceptions to that. There's stories of really people who don't treat people well that rise to the top, but that's not as common as people who are very generous with their time and in the way that they deal with people.
Hmm.
And if you're a service business and in the creative industry, that's what we do, right? We're hired to provide a service, whether it's a print ad, whether it's a video, whether it's photography for a brochure, an annual report. You're serving your client, and you have to put a premium on how you're dealing with your customer, just as if you were a business that painted someone's house or cleaned someone's carpet. It's still a service business, and you have to make clients feel like they've been heard and that you're paying attention to what they're telling you. And the truth of the matter is, and I'm skipping down to bullet point number 4, is every job is temporary. There's no guarantees in life, and there's nothing set in stone. So the way that you treat people is a legacy that's going to go not just in your personal life, but in terms of how you do business with people. And I think when businesses get successful and they start taking things for granted, that's when relationships can start going sour. And I put the picture of Dumb and Dumber there to the side because I thought it was funny because, these two guys, if you saw this movie, these two guys really liked each other. And it doesn't matter if you're, if you and your client both went to Harvard, have Harvard MBAs, or you're high school dropouts, human relationships really should be the most important thing you should consider when you're creating a business.
What a great movie.
I
It's
love
a
it.
great movie. I think we all giggled when we saw that. That's awesome. Well, walk us through the next step. What does it mean to expand your creative partnerships?
This, and I may jump to this type of statement on every point. This has probably been one of the most important things that I have done in having my own business. Actually, in working at I was at the networks for many years as well, where I had an internal department. But expanding your creative partnerships means you have to find the right people to work with on projects, and you need to have very, very deep connections, because when you're in a service business, you never know when a client is going to call and they're going to need a project done. And if you don't have the right people to connect with, you will not be able to get that job done. You need to find the best freelancers, and I'm sure that a lot of people listening here are have various stages of business. Some people are just starting out. Some people may have more mature businesses. But if I didn't have such a deep Rolodex of freelancers, there's no way I would be able to execute some of the jobs that I need. You know, I might get a call this afternoon saying, "Hey, Greg, we need some scripts on Monday. We've got this emergency project, and I may not, if I don't have 4 or 5 or 6 people that I can reach out to, that I can work with, I won't be able to execute that." So I encourage everyone that's in the creative industry, and this probably applies to any industry, but certainly in the creative industry, to begin meeting people that can help you along the way and figure out ways to create partnerships with them in case they do need to make that connection. They'll have people they can go to.
That's awesome. That's so powerful. Walk us through the next step. Network like crazy.
Okay, so this is probably another point I'm sure that many of your speakers and people that you've reached out to talk about. But I will say this.
I hope you're enjoying this video so far. This has been a preview of the Media Leaders Virtual Conference, where you can learn social media, PR, marketing, and sales. There's 20 plus tactical presentations to build your business. You can learn more about it at MediaLeaders.com or register using the link below this video, right below it. Maybe it's above it, but probably below. Now, this conference, you're probably asking, why should I even register? Well, don't buy a plane ticket. Don't reserve a hotel room. Or don't even leave the office, because we're bringing 24 of the best social media, PR, marketing, and sales professionals directly to you, and we call it the Media Leaders Virtual Conference. It's a little bit different. You can register at, like I mentioned, at MediaLeaders.com or use the link below this video. It's designed for small and mid-sized businesses that want online techniques and real-world business advice that's tactical. We're going to give you 7 tactical tips in less than 45 minutes from each one of our professionals, over 24 presenters, that you're going to get the chance to dive in deep into their subject matter. They're experts in their field, and they're the hardworking people that we admire and that we want to hire here at Media Leaders. You can watch the presentations on your schedule at any time as long as you want. Also, if you accept our bonus at the end, you get a free copy of my best-selling book, Light, Bright, and Polite. And as if that's not enough, you get a 100% money-back guarantee if you're not 100% satisfied. I hope you'll join us at the Media Leaders Virtual Conference. You can register at MediaLeaders.com or click the link below this video. I look forward to seeing you at the conference. Have a great day.